Imagine a woman who seems to have it all together, articulate, aware, the kind who'd laugh at the idea of being controlled by anything. You meet her, and she's a breath of fresh air, telling you she wants a partner who's real, who's kind, who's got her back. You think, this is it. She's different. You invest everything, your time, your trust, your heart. Then one day, she's gone. Freud would lean back in his chair, puff his cigar, and tell you she didn't choose to walk away. Her unconscious mind did. See, Freud's most audacious insight wasn't about repressed childhood memories or forbidden desires. It was about the myth of free will. He argued that most of what we do, maybe 90% of it, springs from a hidden well of instincts, suppressed urges, and evolutionary wiring we barely understand. For women, this pull is even stronger, a tidal force of biology and psychology that shapes their choices in ways they can't always articulate. Let's get technical for a moment. Freud's 1925 work on the psychological differences between men and women pointed to something provocative. Women's superego, their moral compass, isn't forged in the same fires as men's. Men wrestle with guilt, that internal whip that stings when you cross your own principles. Women, Freud observed, are more likely to grapple with shame, a social beast that hinges on how others perceive them. This isn't just a quirky difference, it's a seismic one. A man's behavior might be tethered to his inner code, but a woman's is often anchored to social survival, how she's seen, judged, or valued by the tribe. Her choices, then, aren't always about what's right, but what keeps her secure in the eyes of the world. This is where evolutionary psychology kicks in. Women, across millennia, evolved to prioritize social cohesion and resource security, hardwired to navigate complex group dynamics to ensure survival for themselves and their offspring. Her unconscious isn't plotting against you, it's running a program older than civilization itself. Now, let's talk about a case that shook Freud's world, one you won't find in glossy psych textbooks. His mentor, Joseph Breuer, worked with a young woman called Anna O., a case that became the stuff of legend. She was plagued by hysteria, paralysis, hallucinations, mood swings that came out of nowhere. Breuer used hypnosis to dig into her mind, unearthing memories of her father's illness that seemed to fuel her symptoms. But here's the twist they don't teach in Psych 101. When Anna recovered, she turned on Breuer like a storm. She falsely accused him of impregnating her, nearly torching his career. Freud, reflecting on this later, had an epiphany. Anna's hysteria wasn't just a symptom, it was a weapon. Her unconscious mind, without her even knowing, wielded chaos to manipulate the men around her. This wasn't conscious deceit, it was something deeper, a kind of hysterical cognition where the female psyche rewrites reality to fit emotional needs. In neuro-linguistic programming, NLP terms, this is like an automatic reframing process. Her mind distorts facts, memories, even her own intentions to align with what feels safe or powerful in the moment. Let's zoom in on another of Freud's bombshells, the mother complex. Think about your own childhood for a second. Did your mom ever go silent when you messed up, leaving you to stew in her disapproval? Did she shower you with love only when you played by her rules? Did you ever feel a twinge of guilt for wanting to break free, to be your own man? If so, you were shaped by what Freud called the Oedipus complex's lingering shadow. Boys, he said, must sever their emotional tether to their mother to become men. Most don't fully succeed. Instead, they spend their lives chasing women who echo their mother's control, or punish them for daring to seek independence. This isn't just poetic musing, it's rooted in evolutionary psychology. Our early attachments wire our brains, creating schema, mental blueprints that dictate how we navigate love. If your mother's affection came with strings, you're likely primed to see manipulation as love itself. And here's the kicker. Women, too, are shaped by their own maternal bonds, often replaying patterns of control or abandonment without even realizing it. Now let's get raw. You're at dinner with her, and she's all in, laughing at your quips, brushing your arm, giving you that look that makes your pulse race. You let your guard down, thinking, she's mine. 3 days later, she's a ghost. No texts, no calls, just a void. You're left wondering what you did wrong, but here's the truth. Nothing changed, because her choice wasn't hers to begin with. Freud suspected it. Modern science backs it up. Women aren't the fully rational, self-aware beings society paints them as. They're driven by a primal algorithm etched in hormones, instincts, and survival needs. Evolutionary biology tells us women evolved to be hypersensitive to social cues, a trait called hypergamy in Evo-Psych terms. It's not about gold digging, it's about seeking the best possible mate to ensure survival. Her brain is scanning for strength, status, resources, not because she's shallow, but because her biology demands it. This hypersensitivity shows up in what Freud called hysterical cognition, a rapid, unconscious ability to reframe reality to match emotional needs. Take Freud's patient Dora, an 18-year-old sent to him for depression and a nervous cough. Through analysis, he uncovered a tangled mess. Dora's father was having an affair with a married woman, and to cover his tracks, he essentially offered Dora to the woman's husband as a distraction. Dark, right? But here's where it gets wild. Dora didn't lash out at her father or the other woman. Instead, her unconscious redirected her rage at Freud, abruptly quitting therapy and later mocking his methods. Her pain didn't strike where it should, it ricocheted, landing on the nearest target. And guess what? You're often that outlet. Science adds another layer. Studies show a woman's personality shifts with her menstrual cycle, driven by hormonal fluctuations. During ovulation, she's more flirtatious, drawn to dominant high testosterone traits. Think the rugged guy who doesn't call back. During menstruation, she's more irritable, hypersensitive to slights, quick to criticize. Ask her why she suddenly pulled away, and she'll spin a story. We're just not compatible. But her biology might have vetoed you without her conscious input. In ancient Sparta, men were barred from sleeping with their wives during menstruation, not out of cruelty, but because they knew a woman in that phase could be a powder keg. They didn't judge her, they managed her. Freud's brutal insight? A woman's love is never unconditional. Even the most devoted mother harbors a quiet resentment toward her son. Why? Because he'll leave her. This is the primal wound of the female psyche. Love is fleeting, so she must extract maximum resources while keeping her options open. Here's where it gets poetic, like a whisper of dusk settling over a restless sea. Women are taught from childhood to secure stability while craving novelty, to embody virtue while yearning for the forbidden. This duality isn't a flaw, it's a survival strategy honed over eons. The wife who falls out of love after a decade of marriage? She didn't change. Her unconscious mission shifted. She secured children, stability, and now her biology nudges her towards something new. The girlfriend who picks fights over nothing? She's not irrational. She's stress-testing your resolve, probing for weakness. In Evo-Psych terms, this is mate choice testing, an unconscious vetting process to ensure you're strong enough to lead. Fail the test, and her biology flags you as unfit, no matter how much she consciously likes you. Freud saw this pattern in his patients, the chaste woman dreaming of being swept away, the free spirit craving devotion. Public desire and private hunger are at odds. Modern data backs this up. Kinsey's 1950s studies found over half of women admitted to fantasies of surrender, not because they want harm, but because they ache to let go of choice. This is the Madonna whore complex in action. One side of her is the nurturing, socially approved self. The other is the primal, untamed force that emerges in shadows. The quiet librarian scribbling steamy stories. The activist drawn to a man who ignores her. These aren't contradictions. They're the female psyche's hidden dance. And here's where it stings. You've met her, the woman who can't forget that one guy. Maybe he was trouble, maybe he treated her like an afterthought, but no nice guy ever measured up. Freud called this a trauma bond, but it's more than that. It's a chemical addiction to the roller coaster of uncertainty, pain, and intermittent reward. Her brain lights up with dopamine, cortisol, oxytocin, a cocktail no steady, kind man can replicate. In NLP terms, this is an anchor, a trigger tying her to chaos. You offer calm, safety, love, but her body craves the storm. Why? Because in prehistoric times, the man who thrived in chaos, the narcissist, the manipulator, the emotionally distant warrior, kept her alive. Evolutionary psychology calls these traits the dark triad: narcissism, Machiavellianism, psychopathy. Women aren't drawn to these men because they're broken. They're drawn to them because their genes survived. But here's the question that haunts. What if women resent this part of themselves? What if their sudden coldness, their unexplained rejections, their emotional sharpness are cries against their own wiring? Freud saw women as at war with their dual nature, torn between the self-society praises and the primal force they can't control. Every man has seen it, that flicker of something alien in her eyes when you falter, the way her voice turns to a blade when she knows she's wounded you. Freud called this the uncanny, the eerie moment when the familiar turns foreign. Women are taught they're kinder, nobler, better than men. But when their instincts pull them toward manipulation or cruelty, the cognitive dissonance is crushing. They don't just hurt you, they punish themselves through you. So, how do you navigate this? Freud left us clues, whispered in private letters, never fully published. This isn't about controlling women, it's about mastering yourself in their presence. First, the law of paradoxical intent. The more you chase her, the less she wants you. Neediness is a signal of weakness, and her biology recoils from it like a predator sensing fear. Instead, pull back. Let her wonder if she's losing you. This triggers her loss aversion, a psychological bias that makes her pursue what might slip away. Second, embrace the power of the unsaid. Explanations dilute your strength. Mystery amplifies it. When she tests you, don't justify, smile. When she pulls away, don't chase. Let her. Her unconscious craves the man who doesn't flinch. Finally, the shadow self strategy. Every woman hides a darker side, a raw, untamed pulse. Acknowledge it without fear. When she lashes out, laugh lightly. When she lies, let her. She wants to push you away to test your strength. Don't let her win. This isn't about women, gentlemen. It's about you. Your fear, your hope that love is fair, your belief that honesty always wins. Freud's final whisper? The only way to thrive is to stop playing her game and start playing yours. Step out of the script society handed you. Be the man who sees her truth, who holds his ground, who knows that love isn't a reward, it's a battlefield. Type unconscious in the comments if this hit you like a lightning bolt. And stick with me, because we're just getting started.